Thank you so much, Charles, for that introduction and for all your good work in helping us to make the most of the skills, hard work, and commitment of all Ontarians. Respected imams, respected elders, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, friends. Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak. Thank you so much for coming together here this evening. And thanks for all your patience as you listen to so many of us speakers. I understand I'm the last thing between you and a delicious meal, so I'll keep that in mind in terms of the length of my remarks. But I'm reminded of the time when a fellow got up to speak at the podium, having been preceded by many other speakers. And when he took his position at the podium and looked out over his audience, to his great dismay, he discovered there was only one man left. So looks this fellow directly in the eye and says, "Sir, I want to thank you for sticking around. I thank you for your patience and your perseverance. You obviously have a great deal of interest in what I'm about to say." The guy looks back at him and says, "Are you kidding? I'm the next speaker." So, I'm your next speaker. In recent weeks, I've had the privilege and wonderful opportunity to share Ramadan Eid events across Ontario. For example, I've had the chance to sit down for iftar in Kitchener-Waterloo at the Masjid. I was pleased to be included in Friday prayer in Etobicoke. And more recently, I was able to reconnect with friends celebrating Eid in my hometown of Ottawa. These are wonderful opportunities to reflect on the importance of faith, family, and friendship. You know, it's one thing for us to learn about Islam through representations offered in the media, but it's quite another to learn about Islam through Muslims who live in our communities. And you demonstrate every day, each in your own way, the true meaning of Islam. It is a loving, caring, sharing, peaceful faith. I thank you for celebrating it here in Ontario and all our communities. I want to thank everybody at Camp and DMPN for bringing us all together this evening to share in peace and friendship. And I want to thank all of you for everything you do to make our province stronger. Because together we need to be strong. After all, our children and grandchildren are counting on us. And like every generation of Ontarians before us, we will build something even better for those that follow. Right now, that means tackling our deficit to help build a stronger economy. Over 1/2 of all the money that we spend in government goes into compensation. So our plan calls for hitting the pause button on pay increases for a couple of years. We hope to get there through negotiation with our public sector partners. But if we can't get there through negotiation, then we'll have to get there through legislation. That's what our Putting Students First bill is all about. It freezes teachers' pay so that our new investments go into the classroom so we can expand full-day kindergarten and keep class sizes down. Our plan saves $2 billion for taxpayers, and it saves progress in our schools for families. It's all about growing stronger as a province. Of course, our greatest strength has been and will remain Ontarians. It's our people. People like you who are leaders in business, healthcare, education, science, finance, research, public service, and every walk of life. And on top of all the work you do to make a living, you also volunteer and make a difference in the lives of others. Whether it's running blood drives that help the sick and injured, supporting food banks, as you are this evening, to help those in need, or creating programs that help young people reach their full potential. You recognize that our own needs are universal needs, and that the success of others leads to a better life for all of us. Another of our tremendous strengths is, of course, our diversity. You know, when I lead trade missions to different parts of the world, I am one of the few political leaders anywhere who can bring with me people who understand the language, share the faith, culture, and traditions, and know how to do business in the places that we are visiting. That gives Ontario a huge competitive advantage. You know, it's funny how human nature being what it is, we people tend to focus on our differences. I hear it all the time. When I travel abroad, people say, you Canadians are different from us. But even here at home, people up in northern Ontario, they'll say, we're different from the folks down south. And people in eastern Ontario see themselves as different. And so do the people living in southwestern Ontario. And then when you start to close in on Toronto, well, the people in the 905 area, they claim they're different from people living in the city of Toronto. And then when you get into Toronto, you'll hear people saying how different their neighborhood is from somebody else's neighborhood. My point is this. It's natural and healthy for people living in a community to have their own sense of identity and pride. That's a good thing. That's something we can and should all celebrate. But what's important, and what makes a gathering like this one tonight so special, is that we need to also see beyond those differences because we understand. At heart, we're all the same. We all want to live in a place where we are supported, accepted, and encouraged to be the best that we can possibly be. That kind of place doesn't just happen. You have to build it together. That's what Ontario is all about. That's the ideal that inspires our thinking and our efforts. We don't believe in us and them. Here we just believe in us. All of us. Somebody once said, with all the diversity in the world, there is one thing in common among all of us. One thing that ties each one of us to every other one of us. We are all moving into the future at the same speed, simultaneously, on this journey. Here in Ontario, we are taking that journey together. We're moving forward together. And we do whatever it takes together to secure a bright future for ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren. Part of that effort is making sure everyone is treated fairly, so everyone can contribute fully. That's why our government is working to ensure that our boards and agencies reflect the diversity of cultures we enjoy in Ontario. It's important work, because we need our public institutions to reflect the face of our province in all its glorious diversity. And I urge those of you considering public service at whatever level to contribute your leadership skills. Because in meeting the challenges facing our province, we're going to need your idealism, your energy, your passion for service, and your commitment to community. My friends, we live in the greatest province in the best country in the world. By making the most of who we are, by finding strength in our differences, we not only build a stronger province, we not only contribute to a better Canada, we can and should bear the responsibility of leading and inspiring the world, helping others raise their quality of life as well. So thank you for all that you do, to not only celebrate your own faith during this time of Eid, but for all your work throughout the year, building stronger communities in a stronger Ontario, and building the peace and understanding that help us build a better world for our families today and for the generations to come. Thank you very much. Eid Mubarak.